In medieval times, why was it important for cooks to be students of religion as well? Once more. In medieval times, why was it important for cooks to be students of religion as well?
Like, in terms of growing the good crops, was it something that only churches had access to, maybe?
That still sounds like a euphemism for marijuana. I know that's from a previous episode, but like,
You gotta stop, please.
growing the good crops really sounds like a euphemism.
The real good crops, you know?
I like that idea of like sacred knowledge, but not quite.
I mean, because there's tons of like resources attached to the church at the time. So I'm wondering if it's even something like being able to learn how to read or something like that.
Or maybe if you want to be a professional cook, you have to be paid to do that. So would the church be the group to have the resources for that?
No, you don't have to work for the church. You don't.
What was the phrasing again? Like a scholar of a student of the church, or?
Yeah, student of religion.
Could this be a language thing? Like, one of my standard go-to linguistic anecdotes is that in English we order food in French, basically, and we talk about animals in English. Like, you order beef,
right?
But when you're talking about the animal, it's a cow. Like pork and pig, apart from chicken, because that was poor people's food, so that's all English.
Oh.
And I'm trying to work out if there's something in the religious background there about the words, but that wouldn't affect your cookery skills, right? You could still like identify what food was.
Well, yeah. So when you say like they are a cook, does that mean like a professional cook? Because like obviously lots of people are cooking.
No, they don't. You don't have to be a professional cook.
I was wondering if this is like a graveyard cemetery distinction, where it's like you're only. I'm wondering, is this a social thing, or is this more of like
sorry, graveyard cemetery distinction?
Graveyards are attached to churches, I believe, and cemeteries are not.
You don't have to have this faith. You don't have to be religious. You just have to understand something about the religion.
This isn't like a religious dietary restriction thing, presumably, because this is medieval times and the vast majority of the UK did not have dietary restrictions for religion there. Apart from like not eating meat on Fridays?
Nothing to do with that.
Okay.
I think, if you think this is medieval times, what equipment would you not have had when you were cooking? That it's not specialized equipment. It's something you need to know when you're cooking.
Hygiene?
Water, running water.
Pots, pans, fire.
Yeah, heat, pans. The fancy chef's hat that can hide a rat inside to help you cook.
That is very important. Yeah.
It's nothing that you actually cook with.
Okay. Books? Is it cookbooks?
No, but like there's something in that, because when you're using a cookbook, what's something really important as part of
the ability to read?
Like an open area with like candles?
No. Back to the recipe. Back to the cookbook, back to the recipes. What do they tell you?
Is it to identify animals?
Measurements.
Oh, scales?
No. Keep down there. Keep down that way.
The ingredients?
Measuring cups?
You've said everything in a recipe, but the thing that...
The order to cook things in?
No.
Numbers, math.
The amount of time you have to cook things for.
Yes, the amount of time you have to cook things
Hourglasses, candles that they had to...
How to tell the time?
Yes. How did they tell the time?
Are we blanking on this? Is this general knowledge we should all know? What on earth does a student of religion know about time that regular people don't?
So you can measure time with the burning of a candle. It's not super accurate. With hourglasses, sundials, church bells.
I'll say it's not physical. It's not physical.
It's not physical. It's like the knowledge that you would have.
You would know how long the Lord's Prayer is. And that's like exactly 1 minute.
No
you cook something thing for the duration of so many Lord's prayers.
Yeah, that is exactly it, Tom.
Tom!
There's something in my head about like an old medieval cookbook where it said something like, I won't have been fry for so many minutes. It was like put on the stove and say 3 Lord's prayers or something like that.
Yes, it's basically that. So cooking times were often specified in terms of the number of times it took to say a common prayer. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Lord's Prayer. So, for example, one recipe book on the subject of cooking, written by Martino da Como of Italy, says, cook for the time it takes to recite 2 paternosters.
Wow.
For one good example here is for pancakes, 1 Hail Mary on the waffle iron, which is 15 seconds.
They had waffle irons, but they didn't have hourglasses.
I should clarify, they had them, but sand timers and water clocks were too expensive. Very, at least accurate ones, were too expensive for most people.
Also for short periods of time like that.
Exactly. Although there is a recipe here which is for 20 to 25 minutes, which is for bread dough, and you would do 1 entire rosary. That doesn't seem practical to me.
Holy moly. Yeah, you should just do like 1/4 of a Let's Learn Everything podcast.
That's an idea. A recipe podcast that's not religious, but you start on and you cook along with it. And there's some entertainment, and about 5 minutes is, you need to do that now.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's such a good idea.